What is up, Internet? Today, we're going to talk about Super Saiyans. Easily one of the most iconic transformations of all time. Since 1991, when Goku first donned those blonde spikes and emerald eyes, it has been parodied, ripped off, and is on pretty much every single piece of Dragon Ball merchandise imaginable. So I started thinking, what's the best Super Saiyan transformation? And on the flip side, what's the worst? Through watching the series, I learned that it isn't quite as simple as, well, base Super Saiyan's the worst and then Super Saiyan 4 is the best, for example. There are pros and cons to pretty much every single Super Saiyan form. And based on those pros and cons, I'm going to be ranking every single Super Saiyan transformation from worst to best. Note, I'm not going to be including Kaioken or Ultra Instinct since those aren't Super Saiyan transformations. I'm also not going to be talking about Ozaru's because that's a different transformation entirely. And with all that being said, let's get started. Scraping the bottom of the barrel, we have Ultra Super Saiyan, aka Super Saiyan Stage 3. Whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, is the worst form of Super Saiyan. While sources vary on just how strong this transformation is, some say it's as strong as a Super Saiyan 2, while others say it's not quite that strong. Regardless, the power increase and those muscles are about the only good things about this form. I mean, look at those bulging biceps. Damn, even Khalifa. I tap that. Come on, I can't be the only one. Getting back on track, all that power comes with a hefty price, mainly in terms of speed and mobility. It's also not very handy for long-term battles either, as you can only hold the form for a few minutes before reverting back to your normal state. Goku and Vegeta realized quickly this form is completely useless in battle. Trunks and Khalifa, on the other hand, not so much. Yeah, sure, you have a lot of power, but all the power in the world is not going to help you if you can't hit your opponent. That's why it's at the bottom of the barrel. Moving up, down, whatever, to a slightly better stage is Ascendant Saiyan, aka Super Saiyan Grade 2. While you don't get as much power as you would with Ultra Saiyan, the drawbacks are much less severe. The upside? You can maintain this form for a reasonable amount of time, and there's not that huge power and mobility decrease. But once you master its predecessor, just plain old Super Saiyan, there is really no point to using this form. But I'll get more on that on the actual Super Saiyan entry. The only upside to this form? Them muscles. Damn. Now we move up a couple of stages to Super Saiyan 3. Wait, hold on. What? What's Super Saiyan 3 doing so low on this list? Isn't it like the highest level of Super Saiyan you can get in Z? Well, yeah, it is 8 times stronger than a regular Super Saiyan, but unfortunately, power isn't everything, as this form suffers a lot of the same problems as Ultra Saiyan does. While you don't lose any speed or mobility, this form just isn't made for long-term bouts. The purpose of Super Saiyan 3 transformation is to increase the utilization of energy, and as a result, the transformation consumes far more energy than even Super Saiyan 2. This notably leads to extended levels of fatigue, even long after powering down. Gotenks can only hold the form for 5 minutes before defusing back into Goten and Trunks. Goku didn't have to worry about the power drain while he was dead, but after he was resurrected, he realized just how taxing Super Saiyan 3 is on the body, as shown with his bout with Kid Buu. And if we want to bring GT into this, after Goku was reverted back to a kid, he was only able to hold Super Saiyan 3 for a few minutes before reverting back to normal. In Super, however, Goku was able to counteract the power drain a bit by only using the form in short bursts instead of long bouts. He doesn't use Super Saiyan 3 in the Tournament of Power. Well, that's not completely true. He used it once to show it off to Khalifa and Kale, just to show them that someday, with enough training, they too can go even further beyond! Next up is Super Saiyan 2. Okay, so how is Super Saiyan 2 below Super Saiyan 1? And on paper, it's kinda weird. In the Buu Saga and Super, this was Goku's go-to form. It isn't hard to see why. You get all the power of Ultra Saiyan without the huge power drain. Or muscles. This form can also be used for a reasonable amount of time, even for new users. There's not a huge power drain like there is of Ultra Saiyan or Super Saiyan 3. The downside, however, until you master it, it tends to bring out your worst traits. After transforming to Super Saiyan 2, the normally docile Saiyan was quite brutal after transforming for the first time. He wanted to make Cell suffer despite his own father telling him just to finish Cell off. But once mastered, a Super Saiyan 2 can rival the power of a Super Saiyan 3. Look at Trunks' fight with Goku. So with no huge power drain and strength potentially rivaling that of Super Saiyan 3, that's why Super Saiyan 2 ranks just slightly above Super Saiyan 3. Next up is Super Saiyan Rage. And this one is weird to talk about. It's clearly a powered up version of Super Saiyan 2 achieved through, well, rage. But really, there isn't a lot to say about this form because, well, we don't know a whole lot about this form. And thanks to episode 67, I doubt we ever will. But what we do know is that this form can hold its own against Super Saiyan Rose Black and Zamasu. Trunks was also in this form when he took down Fuse Zamasu. In the anime, he actually doesn't ever use this form in the manga. So from what I can see, Super Saiyan Rage can at least hold its own against the power of a Super Saiyan God. May not be able to beat it outright, but holding your own isn't half bad. Wish I could say more about it, but sadly the anime didn't explain too much about this transformation. Or any new transformation we got in Super, really. Next up, we have the legendary rage of Legendary Super Saiyan, aka Super Saiyan Berserk. Again, this is a tricky one because officially we really don't have a lot of information on this form, compared to most of the others on this list. So what we do have is seen from the movie and Super. As with regular Super Saiyan, anger and trauma seem to be the trigger for this form, as seen with Broly's anger towards Goku because he made him cry when he was a newborn. And we actually thought Broly was cool for a while. Kale was able to trigger this form because Khalifa, her sister, sensei, senpai, whatever, was paying attention to someone else besides her. In other words, this is Super's version of Yandere-chan. This form is chock full of power and muscles, without the drawbacks, quite the opposite in fact. Speed, durability, and endurance all seem to increase. It's unclear, however, just how much stronger it is than regular Super Saiyan. Some sources claim it's not as strong as the Super Saiyan 2, while others claim it's stronger than Super Saiyan 3, but not quite God level. Hold on, didn't Kale take a point-blank Kamehameha away from Goku as a Super Saiyan Blue, and it did absolutely nothing to her? Well, yeah. It was mainly done to recreate that scene from the movie. But Golden Frieza in the manga commented that if he or Goku were to take her seriously, they could easily take down Kale. There is a pretty big drawback to this form. The user needs to continuously expel energy. Leaving it unchecked could destroy the user from the inside out. Also, until the form is mastered, the user is overcome by rage, becoming a rampaging monster with a lust to kill and destroy everything in sight, much like how Vegeta originally describes the Super Saiyan in the Frieza saga. Obviously, as seen in Super, these drawbacks can be overcome once the form is mastered, but until then, all you have is a legendary Berserker. Next up, we have the legendary Super Saiyan. Not that legendary Super Saiyan, the Super Saiyan we see for the first time in 1,000 years thanks to Goku. But hold on, how is Super Saiyan 1 superior to all the other forms you just mentioned? It's the weakest of all the Super Saiyan forms. Well, yes and no. In an interview, Toriyama stated that if one mastered Super Saiyan, it can be stronger than even Super Saiyan 3. And I'm not going to doubt the creator. I mean, he might have forgotten about this interview by now, but still, I'm not going to doubt him. And once you do master Super Saiyan, you can eat, sleep, and do pretty much whatever you want without having to worry about the dreaded power drain. You can stay in this form until the day you die. Stay in this form as long as you want, he can be stronger than the Super Saiyan 3? I'll take this form over any others any day. Except for the ones that are higher on this list, obviously. I personally believe that Super Saiyan 1 is the best transformation we got in Z, if not maybe the most memorable one. Next up is Super Saiyan God. Imagine how hard it is to obtain this form. You need 6 Saiyans with a righteous heart to do it. And then you need to convince your group as to why you should get the godly powers, even if only for a few minutes. Or at least, that's what Shenron told us until Vegeta was all like, "Ha! F your rituals. I'll become a Super Saiyan God my own way." And he did. He even donned the red hair in the manga. The only drawback I could find was that until this form is mastered, it can only be held for a few minutes at most. However, it seems the Saiyan can imprint on this form after attaining it, so after they lose the form itself, they retain most of the power. As for the benefits, unsurprisingly, seeing as the form actually has the word God in there, there's a huge increase in power and speed. Whis goes even further into this in the manga, claiming that this form is even faster than Super Saiyan Blue, probably because of the noticeable loss of mass. Once this form is mastered, it truly does live up to its title of God. Next up, Super Saiyan 4. You put Super Saiyan 4 above Super Saiyan God? Unsubscribe! Is what I say if I had any subscribers. Okay, so why did I put this one above Super Saiyan God? Honestly, it came down to nitpicking. I went back and forth at least a dozen times on which one I'd put higher. In the end, I went with Super Saiyan 4. Just barely. And if you want to switch these, honestly, I wouldn't be against it. What were my nitpicks? Well, for one, the way you attain it. No Saiyans fighting to become a god. All you have to do is become a Golden Ozaru, which you can only do after you become a Super Saiyan, then master Golden Ozaru, and once you control that, then you become a Super Saiyan 4. Still easier than the Saiyan ritual. The second nitpick I had was the stamina drain. And while the drain can be controlled for Super Saiyan God with enough training, but for first time users, it's definitely a lot easier to maintain Super Saiyan 4 than it is to maintain Super Saiyan God. As of this recording, we don't have any set multipliers for Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan 4. At least nothing official. And trust me, we Dragon Ball fans love our multipliers! So we really don't know which one is physically stronger, and quite honestly, I doubt we ever will. Though Katsuyori Nakasuru, a character designer for GT, claims that this form pushes the Saiyan to its absolute limits. Doesn't explain why they teased Super Saiyan 5 towards the end of GT, but oh well, I'll take it. Whether or not you believe Super Saiyan 4 is weaker than Super Saiyan God or not, we can all at least agree that this form, if nothing else, is ferocious. Almost done, folks, and next up is Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, aka Super Saiyan Blue. Yeah, okay, we all saw this one coming. The cream of the crop, the Super Saiyan version of a Super Saiyan God. The difference between this form and previous forms of Super Saiyan is energy control. The user must have a calm mind and perfect energy control to maintain this form. And while the form itself doesn't drain energy, at least not like a Super Saiyan 3, the transformation itself can be quite taxing if used repeatedly. When Vegeta used Super Saiyan Blue against Cabba and then transformed into it again against Hit, he was only able to use 10% of the power he had before. However, Vegeta, that clever monkey, found a way to work around that weakness. He learned that if he powers down to a Super Saiyan God and then transforms again to Super Saiyan Blue, there won't be a power drain, like what happened with his battle with Hit. You know how Super gets a lot of flack for not explaining transformations? The Super manga covers this flaw for the most part, explaining many things about Super Saiyan Blue that we never hear about in the anime. Another downside of Blue is that it's difficult to maintain at full power for long periods of time, which leads me to the next form on today's list, the final one, and it's a tie between Perfect Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. At first I wasn't sure if I should put Perfected Super Saiyan Blue in the same category as regular Super Saiyan Blue, much like I kinda did it with Full Power Super Saiyan and Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4, but since the anime answered with its own new form of Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, I thought it would be fair to talk about the two most powerful forms here. Let's start with Perfected Super Saiyan Blue. As a result of training, Goku and Vegeta developed a technique of containing and harnessing and radiating aura inside their body through intense continuous concentration and uses it to bolster their power. With this method, they have achieved mastery of the form, allowing them to realize their full potential of Super Saiyan Blue. In essence, this is a state where they can use Super Saiyan Blue at full power indefinitely. The only drawback is that this state requires intense concentration. If even the tiniest amount of energy leaks out of their body, it will cause a huge eruption of energy. It's very painful and could possibly cripple them. Thank Zeno for sensu beans, am I right? And then there's Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, or as many fans like to call it, Super Vegeta Blue, as Vegeta is the only one who can actually use this form right now. And again, sadly, as of the time of this upload, not much is known about this form. It's only really described as Vegeta pushing his limits in his own way. Simply put, his answer to Kaio Blue. While the appearance is similar to Super Vegeta, it has none of those drawbacks. Along with a huge power boost, it also increases Vegeta's speed, agility, and stamina. Even when Vegeta was low on energy after using the final explosion, he was still able to maintain this form for a short period of time. Questionably. Although I assume that much like Blue, the user becomes weaker every time he goes in and out of it. Now this is mainly speculation on my part. None of this has been confirmed by anyone involved with Super. Not yet anyway. We'll see as time rolls along if we learn anything about the next evolution of Blue. And that's my list. What do you think? What do you personally think is the best Super Saiyan transformation? What's the worst? What's your list? Let me know down in the comments and let's get the discussion started. Thumbs up this video if you like it, subscribe for more, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye!